Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Julia Starres, and I will be your host for today. So welcome. I'm so excited to share with you 5 simple shifts to burn unwanted fat and actually keep it off. Before we get started, I want to do a real quick check-in to make sure that this is relevant to you. Don't want to waste anybody's time here today. So this training was actually designed for busy moms who are really sick of yo-yo dieting, who want to lose weight and get in a shape that in a way that's really it's sustainable for life, that they don't have to just keep on reinventing the wheel and going through it over and over again when they feel like they need to lose weight. If you're a busy mom, the thought of battling the weight for the rest of your life makes you want to cringe, then you're in the right place. This training is for you. In the next 45 minutes, here's what I plan to cover. So I want to talk about how to make this weight loss journey finally work, how to fit a healthy weight loss routine into your already very full schedule. We're going to talk about how to develop eating habits that will eliminate the feeling of constant hunger, because that is annoying, just be constantly feeling like you're starving all the time. I don't like that. We're also going to talk about how to incorporate little changes that allow you to rid your body of stubborn fat that clings to your midsection, that awful muffin top that we all dread when we put our skinny jeans on, and how to get the support of your family so they're not derailing your weight loss efforts. My promise to you, I will uncover the 5 critical shifts that have allowed super frustrated moms just like you to make the shift from a lifetime of yo-yo dieting to long-term weight loss success. But before we get into all that good stuff, let me check in with you really quick just to see where you're currently at. Does this sound like you? Do you feel like you're being pulled in 10 different directions all of the time, and the last thing you have time to do is spend an hour at the gym? Have you been frustrated by diets because some of the weight comes off, but then a few months go by and the weight is right back on? Are you sick of looking at other moms around you, wondering why things seem to be working for them when nothing seems to work for you? Is your sex life suffering? Do you feel like your marriage is heading downhill fast? Does the inner go-getter in you want to go run down the street, go to the gym, play with the kids, but you're too embarrassed about what others will think? Are you sick and tired of being ashamed of your body? Do you feel deep down that it's about more than just looking good on the outside? It's about taking control of your health? What I've noticed is that a lot of moms are really feeling the scary truth about their weight and how it affects their health. So I just want to share with you some really quick things, because I am going to be talking about the effects of being overweight and or obese and the effects on health. So let's just get real clear before we get started on that. This is a BMI chart. Let's take, for example, someone who's 5'6". That's an average height for women. So their healthy weight is going to be 116 to 154. So where the concerns for health come in is when we're above that, when we're in any of these categories of being overweight, obese, or obese type 2, or even higher, because that gets close to morbidly obese. So if someone's 5'6" and they weigh 155 to 185, that's when they're in the overweight category. And health concerns can definitely start arising in that range. But really, when they get to the obese category of 186 to 116, and then possibly borderline morbid obesity at 217 or higher, that's where the health concerns really start to spike. Okay, so just go ahead and take a moment to look at this chart and get an idea of where you might be, and if health, in addition to just looking good, like feeling better about how you look on the outside, if health is at risk. Okay, so now that you've had a chance to look at this chart and kind of get a sense for where you're at, let's look at what the CDC has to say about overweight and obesity in terms of health. Know that 20% of all cancers diagnosed in the United States today are related to body fat, physical inactivity, excess alcohol consumption, and or poor nutrition. Also, people in the overweight, obesity categories are more prone to high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, type 2 diabetes, and coronary heart disease, and a whole host of other conditions that are preventable. They're considered lifestyle conditions that can be prevented and possibly corrected by changing the lifestyle. So as scary as all this is and how awful it makes you feel thinking about all of these situations, I have some good news for you. None of that is the problem. It is just the symptoms. The problem is simple. It's that you haven't yet made the shifts. And once you understand and make these shifts, all of that we've discussed can be corrected. And so that's what I want to spend time covering with you today. Once you make these shifts, you will wake up bursting with energy and the confidence to live the life you dream of. Your kids will be excited to run and play with the mom who is full of life and no longer holding back. Your body will start to heal itself so you can live a longer, more fulfilled life. You will gain the energy to be more present with your kids, to make amazing memories in the fleeting years until they're off on their own, because oh my gosh, I have two kids right now. They're 11 and 9, and I just feel my time with them ticking away, and it's heartbreaking. And so it's like, let's have fun and get those memories in while they're in the house with me. Once you make these shifts, your spouse to look at you with desire and admiration, just seeing that you're glowing with pride and confidence because you have been able to accomplish this task. And your friends, we're going to flip the tables on them because they're going to be raving about how great you look and begging you for your secret. So real quick, a little bit about who I am so you know who's talking to you today and where this is all coming from. I've worked with moms all over the U.S. to help them achieve the goals that they previously thought were out of reach. I specialize in helping moms realize their true potential and getting out of their own way. I'm passionate about helping moms feel amazing and have more energy so that they can make the most out of their time with their kids. And I believe that everybody, even you, has the potential to make it happen. In addition to all of that, I'm also a mom, as I mentioned, of two very busy kids. We are constantly running from point A to point Z. I often wonder how we can get it all in, but it does somehow work. And I'm also a very loving wife to an amazing man. So that's us in a nutshell. Okay, so I want to talk to you about how I discovered these 5 shifts that I'm about to share with you. So over the years, I've noticed that no matter how desperately people want to change and how committed to it that they are, there are some that will actually achieve a success, but very few. Quite a bit more people are not able to make the change stick, again, despite how desperately they want it. So I started studying and figuring out what it is, the key factors that allowed those successful people to make the change happen and keep it steady. In doing that, I've studied under top experts in behavior, weight loss, and even business, because all of that plays into our overall long-term success. I started incorporating those practices into my own life and health. That wasn't enough though. I wanted to make sure that I could help others incorporate these things in a way to make their goals stick. So that's how I got to this point. In all, like I said, came up with 5 shifts that are critical not only to help you to reach your weight loss goals, but enable you to keep it off. The whole goal is that we want to end this yo-yo dieting cycle for good. I'm going to walk you through these 5 shifts now. First shift, diets do not work. And everybody's telling you, oh, you got to go keto, you got to do intermittent fasting, you got to go paleo, try whole food vegan. The big diet chain, the Nutrisystem, the Slim Fast, the Jenny Craig's, and then there's the Atkins program. There's so much information out there, and it's so overwhelming. How do you know what's right for you? Honestly, it doesn't matter what diet you're considering going on. The problem is not what diet you choose. The problem is your habits, your lifestyles, and your beliefs. Until you are truly able to understand your lifestyle and how it's working against you, until you're able to start challenging your beliefs about what you're capable of and what you deserve, and are willing to undo old bad habits and replace them with new healthy ones, there is not a single diet on the planet that will work for you. So this is an illustration of why diets don't work. Look over here on the right side. This is starting in the 1990s. Somewhere right around 10–12% of the population was obese. Look at this trend upward. And this, the latest data I found was from 2017. Now, on average, the population is right around the 35th percentile of being obese. Now, my point as to why diets don't work, if we take that same chart and we look at the spend on diet. So the green line here is the amount of money people spend in the United States on diets in billions. So back in 1992, when obesity was down around the 10% mark, people were spending about $30 billion on diets. And as you can see, as obesity has climbed, so has the spend on diets. The fact that we are now spending $65 billion a year on diets and obesity continues up that same trajectory, that tells you in and of itself right there that diets don't work. It's not, they're not keeping us, no matter how much money we spend on diets, it's not keeping us from gaining more and more weight and the population as a whole becoming more and more obese. And that is a scary thing. So here's why diets don't work. First off, when we go on a diet, we're thinking about calories, right? We've got to reduce our calories. Contrary to popular belief, calories in minus calories out does not equal sustained weight loss. Counting calories actually puts you into a limitation deprivation mindset that you're constantly limiting yourself, feeling like you're punishing yourself on a daily basis, and that leaves you craving more. You ultimately end up with this devil on your shoulder begging you to rebel against this constant punishment, causing you to throw in the towel. It's just not sustainable. The body is a fine-tuned machine that will always try to operate as efficiently as possible. If you give it less and expect more, it will start to clue in on the fact that it has to perform at a higher level with less caloric intake, so it's going to learn to operate with less. And what does that mean? Your metabolism takes a nosedive. Have you ever wondered why, when you've lost weight on a diet, and you were on the diet for a few months, and then all of a sudden it kind of stops working, and maybe you start going off the diet plan, and then the weight comes back on plus more weight? That's because your metabolism has dropped. So going back to your previous lifestyle, the previous way of eating, now your body's storing even more fat in the process, getting you to gain more weight. So here's the thing, not all calories are created equal. The quality of your food is 1,000 times more important than the quantity of calories that you're actually putting into your mouth. It's all about metabolism optimization. The process of eating food and digesting food actually requires calories. So you got to think about the net calories that your body is getting. And if you're not putting quality food into your mouth, highly processed foods, and this is a problem with a lot of the prepackaged diet foods that, on the package say that there's 200 calories in, these foods are so highly processed that it takes absolutely no energy for your body to even consume them. So you're getting 100% of all of those calories, and you're still starving for more because the quantity is just not there. However, if you put in high quality food straight from nature, high fiber food, that food actually takes a lot of energy to digest and to get into your system. So your body doesn't even have that full amount of calories to work with. And because you're putting more of that food into your body, you're staying full longer, so you're able to wait longer in between your meals, requiring fewer calories ultimately to go into your body. So here are the key things that you need to understand when it comes to nutrition and feeding your body correctly. You need to discover which foods work best in your body and which foods make you store body fat. Your body is unique to you, and therefore it needs a unique approach. Everybody metabolizes food differently. So many women get so frustrated because they and their spouse decide to go on a healthy diet, and they see their spouse losing all this weight so easily, and then they get frustrated because it's not happening the same for them. And that's because you need to know that everybody metabolizes food differently, and you cannot expect to have the same results as your spouse or at the other moms at drop-off or the other moms at church, wherever you're at. You're comparing yourself to other people and wondering what they're doing that's working so well for them and why it doesn't work for you, because your body is different. You need to discover what works for your individual body. Your diet doesn't need to be perfect. You gotta shoot for balance. Again, that devil on your shoulder, if you're constantly restricting, constantly looking for perfection, that's where you're gonna get frustrated and throw in the towel because it doesn't feel like living. So shoot for great nutrition 90% of the time. And because your body will feel so fueled and so healthy, it can actually better deal with the other 10% of the time that's not so ideal. You need to reprogram your relationship with food, because that's what it all boils down to of your long-term success, is how you relate to food. So here's what I work with my clients on to make sure that they can reprogram their relationship with food and develop the right eating habits that's going to sustain them for life. So we focus on when to eat. You need to understand where to eat, because that has a major impact on how you're able to digest food. You need to understand why you eat, what drives you to eat the food that you're eating, and when you're eating. You need to understand how to eat for your individual body, and you need to understand how much to eat. All of that is a key thing that most people just don't consider. They just are so pre-programmed into grabbing food when they feel like it's necessary that not all of that's well thought out. If any one of those parts is off, it will affect your body's ability to properly digest the food, how it stores the fat, and how hungry you get in the minutes and hours following eating. For the second shift, I want you to stop dragging yourself to the gym. You have got to redefine exercise. Doing 20 minutes a day or even 2 hours a day working out will not give you a lean or a fit body. Weight loss is 80% nutrition and 20% exercise. So here's a visual I have for you. This is a picture of my treadmill, and sorry, I know it's not a great picture, but I want you to see this. So on this day, I ran for 3 miles, and it took me 30 minutes. And in that period of time, I burned 420 calories. After that exercise, I was hungry for more food to replenish those calories burned sooner than I would have been. So I actually ended up eating more calories that day. So that ticked down the amount of calories burned because I replaced more. And then you've got to think about the mentality of, oh, okay, I worked out today, so I deserve X. And so oftentimes it's this, okay, well, I worked out, so I get a reward. And so we find ourselves having a little bit more of something else because we're thinking, well, we worked for it. We burn more calories, so we can eat more calories, so it's okay. So we actually, when exercising, typically eat more calories during that day. I want you to understand that I am a huge proponent of movement, of getting out and moving your body and burning calories, building muscle because ultimately that does drive up our metabolism. But my problem is when people are dragging themselves to the gym. They're like, I have to go. I have to make this happen because I want to lose weight. And my point is, if weight loss is 80% nutrition, 20% exercise, and we're focusing more of our energy on exercise and we're hating it, then we're starting to look in the mirror for results right away. We want to see, at least if we're forcing ourselves through there is some fruits to the labor, right? We want to see those results. But those results are not going to come quickly. Yes, we're increasing our metabolism, but it takes a while for our body to really start burning more calories and seeing good results. So usually if people are forcing themselves into an exercise that they don't love doing, and then they don't see the results for months at a time, they're going to throw in the towel before the results are ever seen. That's why I say absolutely do not drag yourself anywhere. Don't force yourself to do an exercise you hate doing with the hopes of seeing results, because you're not going to see them in a timely manner. Why would you spend so much of your very limited time doing something you hate? So here's the key to all of this. You have got to discover a workout that will boost your metabolism. In doing so, it's got to be something that you love. And that takes some out of the box thinking, because you don't want to be dragging yourself anywhere, because that's not sustainable. It's really important when doing this that you've got to link your lifestyle, your health and weight goals, and your time commitments. You've got to think about all of those so that you're doing something that you enjoy, getting the health benefits out of it, and it works within your lifestyle. And yes, there's going to be some shifting of things around to make sure that it will work, because honestly, we've previously filled all of the time that we have with other activities. So we've got to reevaluate where there is room in our life for this other thing that will derive health benefits that we enjoy doing. And when you're doing a workout that you love, you get a rush of endorphins that motivates you throughout the day. And that will keep you from having the cravings that will derail your nutrition efforts. If you cannot find an exercise that you automatically love doing, if you've racked your brain, and you're like, there's nothing I enjoy doing about moving, then you've got to reprogram your mindset about the exercise that you've chosen to do. It cannot be a constant punishment to you. You've got to reprogram your way of thinking about it, and that does take some time, but it is possible. I will tell you about Jessica. She's a very busy mom. She's got 3 active boys. She's a full-time nurse, and she found that she had to change her mindset about why she was even exercising in the first place. But in doing so, she understood that it was about giving back to herself, taking care of herself so that she could be a better caregiver, a better mom. When she actually got her mind shifted about the whole point of exercise and what it was doing for her and others that she interacted with, exercise actually became just as important as making dinner for the kids and getting the kids to their activities. Here's my secret weapon. Without this shift, and this is a shift, I'm not aware of any personal trainers that focus on it. I'm not aware of any diet nutrition programs that focus on this. But without this key critical shift, you're not going to be able to be successful in your weight loss journey. So I hope you've got a pen and paper ready as we talk about this. Your mindset is everything. You have got to set yourself up for success. If you do not start this journey out prepared, not only physically but mentally, you will end up in the same place as before. So here's the thing. If you think you will not succeed, you're right. If you don't think you can do this, you won't. If all you can see is what you don't like about your body, you will perpetuate the behaviors that leave you trapped. But then the problem is that no program has a chance for success. So it goes back to when I was talking about diets. I'm like, it doesn't matter what diet you choose. If your mindset is not full on believing that that success will happen and you can visualize that lifestyle and enjoying that lifestyle for life, it will never work. So I want to share with you a story Lynn told me about one of her last weight loss challenges. Lynn was going on a weight loss program, and it was Slimgenics, and she was telling me about her experience in that. And that the first step was she was going in to talk to a counselor. And this counselor was a 20-something-year-old. She was fresh out of college. She didn't have a family. So as Lynn saw this young counselor who didn't have kids, didn't have a family, all that she can think of in her brain is that, yeah, she's never had kids before. She doesn't understand the real life fact that the body goes through a major metabolic slowdown after having kids. And when you're 30 and when you're 40, and she doesn't understand my lifestyle as a super busy mom who's constantly running her butt around, going from point A to point B, grocery shopping with screaming kids, leaving the house 10 minutes late because the kids can't find their shoes, cooking for a picky husband that won't eat anything green. So her brain just kept telling her like all these reasons why this counselor had no clue what she was going through and why all the advice that the counselor was giving her wasn't going to work because the counselor had never walked a mile in her shoes. But she said, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. Obviously, the counselor is a paid professional. She knows what she's doing, so I'm just going to try it anyway. But you can see the problem of what Lynn was doing is she was giving herself all the reasons why the counselor was wrong, but then saying, okay, but I'm still going to try it. So her efforts weren't fully there. She was constantly looking for truth behind why it wasn't going to work, to back up her original thoughts. So even though she was going through the efforts, every time she had to put something on the table and people fought her, she's like, see, I knew they weren't going to eat this healthier food. Or, you know, every time she was strapped for time to cook a healthy meal or get to the gym, she's like, see, I knew my kids weren't going to allow me to work out because I'm always late for everything and now I don't have time to work out. So she's just constantly looking for that proof. And then as that proof kept piling up, that's what led her to giving up, because she's like, this is obviously not the right program for me because I'm too busy. I can't make this work. So the pictures playing through in her head in the very beginning before she ever started it became a reality because she was looking for that truth every step along the journey, and that led her to giving up. I want to paint a picture for you of the old way that we're used to going on diets. So you go on a super restrictive diet. You cook one meal for your family, one meal for yourself, because they'll never eat the healthy meals or the small meals that you have to eat. You long for the food that you enjoy eating, which is exactly what your family's eating. You count every single calorie that goes into your body. You count every second till your next meal because you're starving all the time. You make sure to get to the gym at least 4 or 5 days a week. You race home. You feel awful because you're not spending enough time with the kids. You come up with all the reasons why this diet doesn't work for you, and then you go eat the rest of the leftover birthday cake or whatever it is, right? Does that sound familiar? I want to propose for you a new way, a different way of going on a lifelong weight loss journey. Find the foods that not only meet your nutritional needs, but you and your family enjoy eating. You develop a positive relationship with food so you're not longing for food that makes you feel tired and depressed. You incorporate joyful movement in your routine that maximizes your desire for quality time for yourself. You mitigate the stress in your body prior to eating so you can properly digest and absorb your food versus storing it as fat. You focus on all that's going well with your family, your body, your surroundings, so you're driven to keep it going. Does that not sound like a more sustainable approach to your weight loss journey and overall taking better care of your health? I love this quote from Socrates. The secret of change is to focus all your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. The more we focus on what we have to give up that we don't want to give up, versus focusing on what the new would look like and how much joy and we would get from that, we're not going to get there. Okay? So let's focus on building the new. I love this quote from Kelly. She says, "I cannot believe the things I admitted not only to you, but to myself." And here's the thing, in the process, you're so used to your subconscious telling you all of these stories to actually admit to yourself what's going on, what behaviors and beliefs have limited you in the past is so empowering. So it's more than just admitting things to me, but really the key is to admitting it to yourself and letting yourself move on from that. All right, the fourth shift. You have got to take a stand for you. And in doing so, you've got to stop letting your spouse, your friends, your parents talk you out of what you know is right for you. Think about it. How many times have you felt like you really wanted to do something to take care of yourself, and the people around you that you love and really value their opinion of, they tell you, no, that won't work. You can't do that because, and they come up with all of these reasons and they talk you out of it. You got to stop letting them do that to you. If there is something that you feel like will be good for you, that's the first step. We go back to that mindset that if you're behind it, you should go with it, and you should really empower your mental beliefs about what you feel like you are capable of and what is going to work for you. Because again, everybody is different. So maybe that thing didn't work for your spouse or your friends or your parents. That doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. You've got to stop taking a backseat to everybody else. And this is something that almost every mom I've ever met is notorious of. We put so much of our effort and energy into taking care of our kids and our spouse and our families, everybody around us, and the last person on the agenda is us. But we never give credit to how that is actually negatively impacting our relationship with those people that we love and our ability to be there for them. We go back and we look at all those health concerns that we have if we're not taking care of ourselves. We've got to start putting ourselves first so that we are able to be there, to be healthy enough to care for everybody that we love so much. Got to take a moment to reprioritize ourselves in this whole picture. You've got to stop asking permission to take care of yourself. I laugh at this because this is one conversation I have with so many women. They're like, okay, let me talk to my spouse. Let me see if I could do this. And it's like, if you went to the doctor and the doctor says you are officially diabetic, you need to start going on insulin, and that's going to cost you $500 a month. Are you going to go to your spouse and say, yeah, so I'm diabetic, and do you think it's okay if I go ahead and start buying insulin so I don't die? Isn't that ridiculous when you put it like that? Let's not get to that point. Instead of asking permission, fight for yourself. It's not a choice. You have got to take control of your lifestyle so that you can prevent that from happening. What would you say to your spouse? You would say, this is a fact of life, right? You would say, I am diabetic and now I'm going on insulin, and we've got to figure out how to budget this in for ourselves. Whether you're budgeting in time to take care of yourself, whether you're budgeting in how to eat healthier, again, how to have time to cook meals, what you're budgeting in for, you have got to figure it out just like you would if you had to budget in new medications because of your high triglycerides or high cholesterol or whatever is threatening your life. You've got to have that shift in your mental thinking. And finally, you've got to stop thinking of your health as a luxury, of something that you will take care of when you have the finances or when you have the extra time. It's not a luxury. It is a necessity. Your kids need you in their life. Your spouse needs you there, healthy, able to take care of things. Your health is a necessity, and you need to start prioritizing it. My final shift now is you have got to take empowered action and invest in guidance. So many times we fool ourselves into believing that we need to have all the answers on our own. We fool ourselves that if we ask for help or admit that we don't know, we're somehow failures. That it's cheaper to go at it on our own than to invest in help to make sure that we get it right the first time around. Think about all the times that you went at it on your own. You weren't successful. How long did it take you to build up the desire, the courage to try it again, right? Let's not do that. You've got to stop telling yourself, I just have to, or I know I can do this on my own. That's not enough. Think about the last time you went on a weight loss journey. Did you say, we'll just give it a whirl, see if it works? No, the same thing happened last time. You said, I just have to do it. I just have to have the willpower. I just have to force myself. It's not enough. So how is that different from the last time? To make this weight loss journey attempt the one that actually sticks, you need to go at it with a totally different, a totally revolutionary approach. Someone to bring new ideas to the table and challenge the hidden beliefs that are holding you back. Not only just challenge those beliefs, but uncover them. You've got to start admitting things to yourself, realizing the beliefs that you have, and then starting to challenge those. You need someone to stretch your beliefs about what is possible. Major lifestyle changes are a roller coaster ride. You just don't decide to change it and it's done. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and it's at those low points that we hit, that's when we often give up. But if you've got someone guiding you through the process, they will keep you on that track and give you the tools to build back up, to see the benefit, to stay the course. With the right system, the right support, and the right accountability, you will not get right back on track. You will stay on track with the tools to start working your way back up, to see this thing through and continue at it in a way that will become a habit and a new lifestyle for you. I love this quote from Sharon. She says, I now have a better attitude. Before I felt like there was this dark cloud over me, and that's gone, and I feel more hopeful. I don't feel weighed down anymore. And that I just love knowing that Sharon is just getting to experience more out of life and is not feeling so suppressed all the time. All right, so today I promised how to make this weight loss journey the one that works, how to fit a healthy weight loss routine into your already very full schedule, how to develop eating habits that will eliminate the feeling of constant hunger, how to incorporate little changes that allow you to rid your body of stubborn body fat that clings to your midsection, how to get the support of your family so they're no longer derailing your weight loss efforts, I told you I would uncover the 5 critical shifts that have allowed super frustrated moms just like you to make the shift from a lifetime of yo-yo dieting to long-term weight loss success. So, and again, those 5 shifts were that you've got to stop dieting, stop dragging yourself to the gym. My secret weapon, you've got to get your mindset in check. You've got to take a stand for you. And you've got to invest in guidance so that you are being efficient and have all the right tools in challenging yourself to make sure this time is the time that works. So at this point, I'd love to give you an option now for how you can proceed. So here's how I can help. I've made time in my schedule for the next 3 days so that I can speak to you personally to figure out how you can apply these shifts into your weight loss program starting now. And you may think that you're an enigma and that you just can't lose weight. And I want to assure you that that's not true. You just haven't figured out the right method for you. And I'm sorry it's cut that off at the bottom, but I know that everyone has it within them to make their weight loss journey a success. They just haven't at this point uncovered the right method for them and challenged their previous beliefs and where they have room in their lifestyle for the shifts. Once you do that, I know you can have the weight loss success that you've been dreaming of. In the session, I'll uncover what's been stopping you, slowing you down, or keeping you from getting the body you desire. We'll develop a powerful vision for what such a transformation would mean for you and your family. We'll discover which foods and habits are keeping you from having the body you desire and what to do about it. We'll create a step-by-step plan to set you on your path to success. And the good news is that I am doing this for free. So now you might be wondering if this free session would benefit you. I've created this for moms who want to be demonstrating a healthy relationship with their bodies and food, and hope that in doing so that they'll benefit by being a good role model for their kids in that way. I've designed this for moms who are ready to take charge of their lives and their bodies, and moms who crave a healthy body starting now. And if that sounds like you or who you want to be, then go ahead and book the call. There's absolutely no risk in doing so because I truly believe that every mom has it within her to achieve a healthy body. And I know that moms are the leaders of their families, and with the right tools, they're not only going to learn to love themselves, but teach their children the same. And that's really important to me as well, that we, in that epidemic, in that huge growth in obesity in our country. And here's the thing, because a lot of people are like, well, why do you give free sessions away? That just doesn't make sense. Or, and they feel obligated if they sign up for a free session. And I want to really stress that there is absolutely no obligation to work with me because you attended a free session. But the truth is that I do this because I know that some moms will choose to continue to work with me to help ensure that they have the right guidance, support, and accountability to achieve their goals. And that's great. So they just need to try it on first. And then once they've tried it on, they're like, okay, yeah, this seems right for me. But I also know that a lot of people won't continue working with me, and that's okay. I link it to trying on clothes. You go shopping for a new outfit. You have the ability to grab multiple items of clothing and go into a fitting room to see which one fits you. And the ones that don't fit you, you don't feel like you're obligated to buy them because you tried them on. You just hand them back to the staff and say thank you, right? And that's the same with this. You're just trying on this type of coaching to see if that's what you need to uncover this goal in your life. So don't feel nervous about booking that call with me. Take that empowered action. Be selfish. Go to the fitting room, try it on. See if this is what you need to make the change stick. To book a session, and I apologize if you're on this session on your Android device, you're not going to get the link to book a session with me. So you actually have to go onto your web browser and type in truehealthchange.com/BT, and that BT stands for breakthrough. people who are on an Apple device or on their computers, there should be a link that pops up that you can just click on, and it will take you right to the calendar, and you can book your session within the next 3 days. Hopefully you find a session time that does work for you. Those of you on Android devices, go ahead and just write this down really quick. So it's www.truehealthchange.com/BT for breakthrough. Okay. And just know that I expect these free sessions to go away quickly, so don't hesitate. Just click on that link today or type that link into your browser right now and grab that session for yourself. You won't regret it. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, here's to your health.